Indianness in Nissim Ezekiel's poem, The Patriot. This is my personal information. Table of content. In this presentation, I will discuss about poet's introduction, background of the poet, poem's overview of the Patriot, Indianness, about what is the Indianness, and Indianness in the poem The Patriot, and conclusion. So first, poet's introduction. Nizam Ezekiel is a poet and a scholar born December 24, 1924. He belongs to Marathi-speaking Israel Jewish community, which never experienced anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is a term for uh, that reflects that hatred. For the Jews, and uh, Bangladeshi academic Kaiser Haq says that he naturalized the language to the Indian situation and breathed life into the Indian English poetic tradition. Uh, Nissim Ezekiel worked as a copywriter and manager for a picture frame company in 1954 to 59. He also co-founded the Literary Monthly imprint in 1961. He acted as a mentor to young poets such as Dom Morris, Adil Jusawala, and Gayu Patel. Many of his poems, such as The Night of the Scorpion and that Supreme Idiot to Jingoism, The Patriot, all are set works in Indian and British schools. Ezekiel received the Sahitya Academy Cultural Awards in 1983 and also the Padma Shri, India's highest civilian honor award in 1988. Now the background of the poet. He was born in a modestly bourgeois Jewish family in 16 December 1924. Ezekiel belonged to the Marathi-speaking Ban Israeli Jewish community in Bombay, which at the time was 20,000 of strong now, but in 2004 it only remained 5,000. Unlike a majority of Ben Israeli Jews who returned to Israel following partition and Indian independence, Ezekiel's family stayed on. He did touch up that background of Ezekiel is also reflected in his some of his work by the alienation that we can feel in his some work such like the poem background casually. He in that poem says that my ancestors among the castes were alliance crushing seed for bread. In that poem, he also says that I have made my commitments now. This is one to stay where I am, as others choose to give themselves in some remote and backward place. My backward place is where am I. This is how he deals with his background and his sentiment towards India. So now, what is Indianness? Indianness may be a very controversial term. It comprises of the cultural patterns of India together with rooted Indian ideas. These ideals and ideologies plays their respective role altogether styles of a social scenarios. But Indianness is not only about national identity. It's not only about traditions, culture, and our wonderful civilization. It's not about the way we live and the way we conduct ourselves. It's not only about the best of the religion as well. So what is Indianness and what is the thing when we are specific to a certain context? Indianness in Indian English literature. So Indianness is an amalgam of all the things that are mentioned above. It's an idea that strikes one's mind and compels the emotional outburst in a person to relate the elements involved in a particular event. In this case, it's literary work. While Indianness as an idea can be a perfect mixture of all the things mentioned about, anything can construct the simple idea Indianness until it connects the reader's mind with India. India that is a thought, not merely a nation. So that's how we can connect the Indianness to literary works. That it is not about a specific civilization or culture or tradition, but when we connect all of the things that are in rooted in the Indian. India, then only we can say that it is reflecting the Indianness. Now, the brief overview of the poem Patriot. In the Patriot, the speaker is engaging in a conversation with someone, we can say a visitor. He proclaims his commitment to peace and non-violence and reflects Mahatma Gandhi's ideals. The speaker expresses disappointment in people's continuous conflicts despite Gandhi's teaching and laments the modern generation's disregard for ancient Indian wisdom. So, in this poem, he is very idealistic. The speaker of this poem is very idealistic. He believes in a Gandhian philosophy and he is a supporter of non-violence, and he is also a person who is very proud of the old Indian wisdom. In the poem, these are the line that is reflecting that I am a standing for peace and non-violence. Why world is fighting? Why all people of world are not following Mahatma Gandhi? I am simply not understanding. He humorously contrasts his attention to improve his English and his frequent use of inappropriate language. So the speaker is proud of his Indianness, and he is also believer of the old Indian wisdom, but he is also trying to improve the English by reading English newspaper, and he's saying that other day I am reading newspaper. Every day I am reading Times of India to improve my English language. The poem shifts between discussing political matters, lassi, and the speaker's concern about India's relations with Pakistan and China. The poem ends with the speakers emphasizing brotherhood in India. So, Indianness in this poem, The Patriot, uh, uh, Ezekiel's poem, The Patriot, expresses his deep concern for the contemporary problems, not the contemporary still, but when Ezekiel is writing this poem in 1977, he is expressing this problems of India. In the lines of poem, he says that Pakistan behaving like this, China behaving like that, it is making me very sad, I am telling you. So he's expressing his thoughts about his contemporary problems, or we can say that the problems that discussed by the people. So we can say that this is still relevant. We can say by if we talk about the recent event of Pakistan India match of World Cup. This is still relevant that India is still Indian people is still think like that, and they discuss those things. And the use of typical Hindi words like Ramraj, Lassi, Ashram, Guru, uh, Chapati, Pan further add the Indian flavor to the English language. So in this poem he uses all those words that makes this pretty Indian, and how the people of India talk in while they speak in English. Even the language of Ezekiel's poem contains a large amount of Indian English. The colloquial language and the frequent use of present tense, featuring the use of Indian English by the native Indians. The two are the very prominent features of Indianness in Ezekiel's poetry. His poem, like very Indian poems in Indian English, The Patriot, The Professor, and many others such as poems, works as a subtle comment on English and the way it is used for a communication in Indian society. So if we talk about further about this Indianness, then this poem of Ezekiel, the entertainment is also reflecting Indianness in a particular manner. Ezekiel's poem entertainment is one of the best example of the perfection in his art of observating the Indian society. He seems to be the master in penetrating the selfish aspect of the gathered crowd, which gets dispersed by the time of its anticipated payment to the street show they have recently enjoyed. Uh, on the other hand, he penetrates the hardship of the life of the performer who do not have even a single line on their face, but ironically, the monkey is said for its performance has remained unpaid. So the lines of the this poem is goes like anticipating time for payment. The crowd dissolves, some in shame part with the smallest coin they have. The show moves on. So we can hear the reflection of Indian society or Indian people is also reflecting, and we can say that this reflects also the Indianness. The conclusion. M.K. Naik, in his book Indian English Poetry, reminds the readers of Longfellow's wonderful idea: nationality in literature is good, but universality is better. An Indian will read the book because of the content that the English language often observes, and a foreigner will read the book because of something new that he can learn, and the language further simplifies that learning adventure. So we can say that the use of this literature or literary work is also helpful to create a universality by talking many themes and exploring many themes, and the Indianness is also that type of theme that can be explored in the literature, and some of these two novels also express that Indian flavor in that work. Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie and Gun Island by Amitav Ghosh also have that Indianness of the culture, and it also have the universal themes that they have collected so much in those works, and it reflects the Indianness and Indian flavor. So this is my references, and thank you. Now you can ask me questions.
Ghanshyam, my question is that how does the poet use language and imagery to convey the complexities of Indianness?
The use of language, that we can say that you use the word lassi and guru, or the ashram word, and then there is a Ram Rajya word, and also there is this the language of this grammatically this present tense, that and also this he says in his line that why the people are fighting. So those type of words and reflects that Indianness and the imagery. We can say that how he is conveying that in his poetry. So in his poem, this patriot, he is reflecting this idealistic person, and in the poem entertainment, he is reflecting that street show. So that's how he is representing that imagery in his poem.
Ansha, my question is that how does the poem portrays the patriot's attitude towards his country?
So in this poem, the patriots, the attitude of this person, the narrator, is pretty much clear that he is very idealistic and proud of the Indianness, or he is proud of his country, and he says that I am a non-violent person, and why everyone is not following the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi. So he is a person that is very proud. But if we can say that he is also talking about the issue of Pakistan and China, that why they are behaving like this, and that's how uh, uh, he is also um, he's also bringing this his contemporary problems, but he is very idealistic person. We can not say that that he is very um thoughtful about, if we can say, he's not very critical about his ideas, that he is only the proud of old Indian wisdom, or the proud of nation, but he is not that much critical. So we can say that. Thank you.